It's time for an emergency death battle.
We had this is last second filmed, but actually not last second at all because we still took an hour to prepare. So this is going to be Kenpachi defended by David versus Roanoa Zoro defended by me, Redd Alexander, with Noble and maybe Swan as a judge. So we'll start off immediately by saying, fuck the oh, you can't see him because he's a soul reaper shit. You don't have a battle if you do that shit, so fuck that. They can see each other, they can touch each other, they can fucking cut each other.
Actually.
Yeah, and I guess, really, location does not really matter to me, so I'll just go with generic abandoned city. Go ahead, David.
Oh.
Introduce Kenpachi. Tell us about this man.
So, Kenpachi Zaraki originated from the Zaraki district of... I'm not even going to fucking try to pronounce that shit.
Rukungai?
Yeah. And literally, it's like... And took the name of Kenpachi for himself. Thank you. He took the name Kenpachi for himself after he deemed himself the strongest of all fighters. His obsession with being the strongest spawned from a fight with Captain Yachiru Unohana that occurred when he was a child. He overwhelmed her in combat, and from that day forth yearned to find stronger opponents. And literally, basically gets off on the pain of and the enjoyment of fighting everybody that is strong and fucking just loves to fucking fight. Almost like a Hisoka level of enjoyment of fighting.
Yeah, it's very similar. Just to fill in a couple things that he missed, he loves fighting to the point of early in the series he would hinder himself. He had an eye patch that would cut his power in half, and he would put bells in his hair so people could hear him better.
Yeah, we're not getting into any of that though, because this is going to be
right. This is as current as of end of series Kenpachi, what we saw up to his Bankai against Gerard's, and he kind of stopped doing that at that point. We're also going to assume that immediately upon starting this fight, Kenpachi takes off eye patch because I think Kenpachi would see that Zoro is a worthy opponent.
Exactly.
Okay, so and let me here. So I'll introduce Zoro. Roanoa Zoro is the swordsman and kind of second, mate. What do you call it? When it's the captain's right hand man, I guess.
The first mate.
Yep, the first mate of the Straw Hat crew. And his dream is actually to be the best swordsman in the world, and it's not for any cringy generic shonen reason. It's actually a promise that he made as a child to his childhood friend, who she wanted to be the best swordsman in the world to kind of break the gender stereotype because there's the whole women are physically less strong, and she kind of wanted to break through that and still be the best swordsman in the world even though she was a woman. She ended up dying through it was one of those tragically what a way to die, and they even bring this up in the show. She dies by literally fucking falling down the stairs while holding her sword, and she impales herself. Shittiest way to die of all time. And they bring this up wow, that's what kills her. Fucking
yeah, I think I got one worse than that. Death by impalement from the umbrella point in another.
Oh gosh. But yeah, no, so he's been trying to carry on that dream for her to kind of it's a victory. When he gets it, it's gonna be a victory not just for him but for both of them, and that's kind of where they're going with that. And because of this, he has every time the way he kind of does this in his mind is every time I meet someone who considers themselves a swordsman, if I see a motherfucker holding a sword, I'm fighting him. On fucking visualization. I see them, I fight them. And that's how I'm going to prove to myself I'm the best swordsman in the world. We're oh, your swordsman, fighting you. Beating you next. And so, every arc, he fights the sword. He's all right, who's got the sword? Who's got the sword? You, fighting you. Because,
and Hindress rushes over there and...
Yeah. So, that's kind of his goal. And yeah, I just thought this would be a great fight because they're both swordsmen. And basically... what I feel this is going to come down to, as an avid fan of both of these series, is it's going to come down to raw power with Kenpachi versus technique with Zoro. Because Kenpachi clearly has more raw power, and Zoro clearly has more technique. Kenpachi swings his sword around like a fucking club, and he's a madman. Kenpachi, did I say that right? Yeah, Kenpachi swings his sword around like a madman. Zoro actually has swords, techniques, skills. He's been training with the sword all of his life. So those are the differences in this fight. But yeah, would you like me to start out? Or
yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. So immediately when it comes to cutting, what he can cut, I'll start off with that. One of my very early on into the series, I'm talking maybe what was Alabasta, 100-something chapters in, Zoro actually learns how to cut through steel. And what this is basically is he has this like almost like a eureka moment where he has like a realization that every material on the world has a resonance, like some sort of like if you really like attune yourself and like meditate, you can hear the resonance of every material, like almost as if he's like just hearing like the atoms that make up that material, right? And when you know the resonance of it, you can cut through anything. Like he even said, and how they show this is really cool, because they basically say a swordsman, to be a good swordsman, you need to be a swordsman that can cut through anything, but also cut through nothing. And what they mean by that is you have a scene where it's his master and he's like, he swings as hard as he can against like a leaf.
Ha! Sensei, you didn't even cut it.
Listen, Zoro, this is an important lesson for you to learn. There are swordsmen out there who are capable of cutting nothing. However, these same swordsmen can also cut anything, and that includes steel, using the same sword.
And then the leaf doesn't even cut at all. And he's like, but you didn't even cut the leaf. And he's like, exactly. And it was because he can attune his sword to like what resonance, it's hard to explain, but like to what resonance he wants it to be. So he can be like, I want to cut that, and then it'll cut that. So for example, so you can swing as hard as you can and not cut the leaf, but then you can literally just drop your sword, like literally just let it drop, and it'll cut through a stone slab. It's not about the force that you're putting into it. It's about literally just knowing the resonance of the object. So this is a moment where he's fighting a dude who has the blade fruit, because it's devil fruits and stuff, and he can turn his body as hard as steel. So throughout this entire fight, he is unable to cut this guy, and this is kind of the eureka moment where he actually does cut him. And you see in the top there, he does the thing where like he swings as hard as he can, and he does not cut through the leaf. Let's scroll up real quick for you. He swings as hard as he can, and he does not cut the leaf. And then he just lets his sword drop, and it cuts through the rock. That is when he learned how to cut through steel. And ever since then, and there's even there's an end panel here that if I did save it or not, where he even says like they're like the guy's like, what's next for you, cutting diamond? And then he's like, maybe, and he's like, no, there wouldn't really be a point, because you know, at this point he knows the resonance of everything. So basically it's like saying it doesn't even matter how hard it is, it's just he can cut through stuff as long as he knows the resonance, right? So like hardness in what to cut through doesn't really matter to him anymore. He can basically, there's nothing he cannot cut through. But obviously I will say that this goes for Kenpachi as well. He's said it multiple times, so they would be able to clash very well. So that's one of my first things for his cutting. There will be a lot of feats, so bear with me. So that's showing just how he's able to cut through all the things he cuts through. And a good example of this, one of the recent things in the manga, one of the biggest things he's ever cut through. And so I'm going to show you first, here's a context scan of how big this guy is. This is a guy named Pika who has the ability to subjugate stone. And he goes into this stone body, and he is as big as this fucking town. Like, he's absolutely massive. And Zoro does this to him. And I'll obviously add it up, where he cuts him. He gets a dude to slingshot him in the air, so he can fucking, cut him in half, again, massively. Like, one of those specks is him, just to give you a size comparison. I don't remember which one, but basically that is the size comparison. I'd have to find it in the anime, because it's hard to tell, but I know from the anime that, like, he's the size like one of them specks there. And then he cuts him again vertically there, twice in a row. The reason he can do this is because of that resonance shit. He can just cut through shit, like, pretty much anything, like butter. Okay, and so that's I'll leave it at that for cutting strength, because that's basically like his.
That's his.
That's the most recent feat he's had in the manga. So I mean, that's basically like anything below that he can do, obviously. Now moving on to durability. Let's see here. Okay, so one of my favorite durability feats. I'll do a couple other ones. So here's one where he gets kicked up into the air by a fucking giant. And he gets kicked up like that, and he survives this he gets right back up after this kick. This is here's an attack that does. Okay, so this attack is called Urisa's Shock. I believe I'm saying it correctly. Urisa's Shock. And basically it's a guy who he's able to compress things, and he, again, One Piece's very unique attacks. He compresses air into such a small area. Like, he starts off with his hands all the way spread out, and he compresses air, like, down to the point where it's like a tiny little point, and then he lets it go, and it's like just a huge shockwave of air, right? Mm-hmm. And you can see, and I'll send you what it does here. It fucking devastates. Hold on a second.
It's almost like a sonic boom.
Yeah, pretty much. Hold on a second. I gotta find the other ones here. But it devastates the area. It knocks out pretty much everyone in the entire fucking area. You see I'll show you the destruction here in these panels. You see everyone's fucking out. Really strong players are out. Other Straw Hats are out. Delete. And then you see, he notices someone's still up, and boom, it's Zoro with a sneak attack. So
I deleted the duplicate.
Thank you. So again, Zoro survived that, which is basically a gigantic sonic boom that just almost fucking just leveled an entire island, at least buildings on the island, and took out a lot of the Straw Hats. And to clarify, this is after a very, very strenuous fight with oars on that island. So that's one of his best. Now that's the one I like to start with. There's a kick, there's that, and then one of his best durability feats. And this is just a testament to how much pain this guy can take. But this takes a bit of explaining for non-One Piece fans. During this fight, Luffy fights a very long and hard battle against oars, where basically obviously you have the normal One Piece stuff where he's getting knocked around through buildings, fucking hit into craters, but he also basically took a lot of punishment because he had this thing, again, One Piece, very unique and original, he had a bunch of there was a guy with a shadow ability where he could rip people's shadows out and use their powers and abilities, and someone basically took out shadows from like hundreds of people and jammed them into Luffy's body so he could like fucking have the power of hundreds of people in one thing. So there's all that damage on his body, plus all the damage from the actual fight itself. Kuma is a person who has the ability to repel anything. That means anything. So you saw the shockwave, that was him repelling air into a ball and letting it go. There's this is what I'm about to send you right now, is him repelling pain itself. He repels pain. A non-physical thing. It's pain. Just the concept of pain. He repels Luffy's pain, and he gives it to Zoro. Because it's a deal that he makes with Zoro. Like, oh, okay, I'll let you guys live if you take this pain. Because he was testing him to see how good he was, right? And basically, he had to take all of the pain. This is, one, after the fucking shockwave, after the huge fight they had, after the kicks and the craters, blah, blah, he also takes all of Luffy's pain. And this is the result of it. He's just standing there, exploded in there's this look at the blood, all the blood on the ground there. Like, there's just blood exploded out of him, and he stays standing. So again, what he has there is incredible pain tolerance for just, being able to stay up, right? So that's probably his best stuff durability wise. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more thing for durability. This is Pika punching him through a lot of buildings, and he's relatively unscathed after this as well.
Still nothing compared to the previous feat.
Certainly, I just wanted to bring it up for physical damage wise. Oh no, Swan's typing.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, I got a couple more. So what else? So speed wise. Well, actually, you know what? Before speed, let's do oh, thanks, man. Physical strength first. So physical strength wise, you have a couple cool things. Number one is a moment. Let me find it. Where is it? A moment where he gets knocked into a building, and he actually just lifts the fucking chunk of building up, just casually with like fucking casual.
Fuck it.
And he chucks it at his enemy. Let me find the scan there. So he chucks it right at him.
Just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just casual. Another fun one is him doing thumb ups. Yes, you heard me right. Thumb ups with however much weight this is. Anyway, we're back. David had to walk a dog. So he's doing thumb ups with 4 tons, and we actually did see how it's tons. It says 1 ton on those, and there's 2 stacked on each side. So 4 tons with his thumbs. Keeping that in mind. Another good durability that I actually forgot to mention. One of the first times that you meet him he was tied up for a crime, and they made him a deal. Like, they tied him up, and they were like, if you can survive a whole month without, I think it was a month without eating on this steak, and we'll let you go, right? And he took on that challenge. We didn't see him go be a whole month on there. What he did last was 9 days without eating, and he kind of got up and fought after that just fine. So here is a scan of him on that. Okay, one thing I do want to bring up too for against Kenpachi, which I think could also give him a slight edge, because there's a lot of things that give him not an edge with Kenpachi, is Zoro has ranged attacks. I don't believe Kenpachi has a lot of those. What Zoro actually has, like, sword slashing moves, like where he'll like do a slash and it will go a long distance. What the fuck are you doing? One of the examples is actually this attack here that I'm about to send. That basically, like, he spins his swords in like a kind of like a spin attack. Think like spin attack from like Legend of Zelda, right? Yeah. But it'll basically create like a tornado of like slashes that will actually keep fucking going. Like, it keeps going, like, long after he's done the slash, and they're, like, even, like, when does it stop? Or how long will it chase us? And he's like, to the ends of hell. Right. So, like, he can create, like, a slashy tornado that'll just keep going for a long time. He also has, like, sword slashes waves that go, long distances and shit. We have a moment here. So, just moving into speed, I guess. Speed-wise, one of my favorites is, where he has literally dozens of people training their eye on him with guns drawn on him, ready to shoot him at, like, the moment he moves, right? And he just disappears from the top, and then he's like, boom, right there, right? He got in between that group.
Now, if this was Thurman, he'd say that's faster than light.
Oh, gosh. Well, the fucking Screw Attack actually used this feat to clock Zoro at something, but I'm not going to use Screw Attack's clocks, because who the fuck knows them. But they did use this for his speed. So there's that. And then one of my favorite parts, just as an addendum to this, he whips from there while they're all watching him, gets in the middle of them somehow while they're all watching him, and then is able to be so fast that where they all try to shoot him, and he makes them fucking shoot themselves by just, again, being that fast. Oh, and you can look at that face. He's enjoying it. He's trolling. He be trolling.
That's fine. He's typing.
Oh gosh, Sloan, what do you want? What do you want from me?
He wants you.
More good physical strength. We have a moment where he fucking basically grabs the jaw of a giant and fucking just slams him down. He gives him the fucking slam jam. Hold on. Wait for it. Hold on. Make sure I'm doing
slam jam.
Everybody get up. It's time to slam now.
And
here it comes. We got a real jam going down. I can sing. It's my own voice. And then, welcome to the space. That was fucking just him grabbing his upper jaw. Look at that shit. Oh, it's glorious. We're almost done with mine. Let's see here. Any final things? So that was speed-wise. You saw that. Hold on. Unlike Thurman, I'm not going to claim that this is FTL, but what I will claim is that he does dodge lasers. I don't know how fast they are, but they're probably pretty fucking fast, because they are, and they have been said to be designed after...
Post-time skip.
Yeah, they're designed after... who knows? They're designed after Vegapunk, who is a very good scientist in the One Piece world, reproduces Kizaru's ability. Kizaru is the light speed guy that we were referring to, who claims that he is light speed. Zoro reacts to these things, and dodges them. So I don't know. Again, the problem with light speed is it's hard to confirm, because some things where it's like, light speed's so goddamn fast, how? If he's actually... So I'll go as far as to say reaction time, like if he sees like oh, they're gonna fire and he dodges before it fires, I could say that.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing he's actually light speed at this point in time. But we'll see. But I mean, either way, he's dodging these lasers precog. Zoro does not have... Well, okay, here's what I will mention, Noble. There's something in the One Piece universe called Haki. Not hockey like the fucking sport. Haki. It's kind of like their ki, their chakra, right? And there's three main types. There's Conqueror's Haki, there's Armament Haki, and there's there's fucking observation haki. Observation is semi kind of like precog, so that probably actually is what it is. Where basically like you kind of, it's just a way to like censor, like we've seen Luffy dodge bullets with it, we've seen, you know, like point blank bullets. So it probably is just he knows where it's going to fire. Is more accurate what it probably is. And I guess one last thing I want to mention here before we move on to David and Kenpachi is a little as I was mentioning, you know, as you brought up haki. There is a little thing called Armament Haki that I thought I saved a picture of. But anyway, there's a thing called Armament Haki, which basically allows you to put basically you can harden anything, right? You can harden a weapon you're holding, you can harden your own body. It's like a defensive thing, and you just make your body harder or a weapon. He uses it on his swords, which basically makes it so he never has to worry about his swords like chipping or getting yeah, here it is. Okay. Hold on. So it's that one where he's climbing up on the top. Okay. It's fucking, oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so here's the scan for that. He never has to worry about his swords getting damaged, because this is after he cut in half the guy that I was telling you about, right? He doesn't have to worry about his swords getting damaged, because if you coat your weapons in this, it basically, at least to what we've seen in the story so far, it hasn't been broken. And that's not to say that it can't. Yes, he can, Swan. He can make his body harder. Winky face. It's not to say that it can't be broken. Obviously, if someone else is like, you know, has something as hard and as strong and durable, make your jokes, as, you know, then yes. But to the story that we've seen so far, coating weapon and armor haki basically makes it unbreakable. Again, I don't believe for a second it's unbreakable. It definitely could break if he fought someone strong enough. But you look
at what, break when he cuts Diamond.
Maybe there's a guy named Diamond Jozu in the series, but who's made a diamond. But look at what he was able to cut through, the massive thing, and not even a scratch on the blade. So that's a big thing too. Because as we've seen with Kenpachi, his blade's fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So that's another thing to keep in mind. But I think with that I am good on my end. If you want to bring up some of your shit, David, and like as I was doing, send it as you do.
Okay, so first off, one of his. You demanded I make this joke. So one of the first things he does in the series is he pulls a Kool-Aid Man.
The Kool-Aid Man, he yes through a wall. We had to bring it up.
Yeah. So
yeah. So here's some Kool-Aid Manning. That's just a nice little fun thing.
Yeah. Slices a skyscraper clean in two.
Oh yeah, give me that.
And
so yeah, skyscraper clean in two. Yeah, this one's a fun one.
Just fucking casually.
Oh yeah, casual. And most of the things he does are one-handed. I will give him that.
Destroys part of a city in his final clash with Ichigo.
Yeah, this is all pre-time skip.
Yeah. Forces Noitora to block his blow with all four arms. Slices Yami's leg clean off.
Like butter. Like he's slicing a little tab of butter for his toast.
Just that chunk of flesh right there. Smashes open Yami's jaw with one swing.
Oh, that's true too. Swan, he has the hardest hero, which is like proving that he can also cut through real hard shit. Both these people can. Hardest hero being the hard skin that Arankars naturally have, and he had the hardest, and he's sliced it off like a fucking nothing. So yeah.
So post time skip strength feats.
Man, now we're getting a post time skip. Oh boy.
Clashes with the Ewok.
Yeah, Noble. Here's where shit gets crazy. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh well, that's not much. Here it comes.
Well, clash with the Ewok clone, or Yawatch, or however you want to pronounce it. And then destroys most of a city block.
Yeah, just so again, that's just a swing of a sword.
One swing.
Boom. Still one-handed.
Slashing apart a lava flow.
Yeah, that's what it was. His sword, yeah, so we were talking about how, and I wanted to bring this up too, my guy, Zoro slashed through the big guy, with armor haki, sword didn't even have any damage. Your dude sliced lava, and sword's fine. So I did, yeah.
That's why I brought that up. I wasn't going to bring that one up, but well, you can't talk post-time skip without Grimmy.
You gotta talk Grimmy, dude. Grimmy existed to give Kenpachi more feats. Yeah. That was his point.
Destroying a huge portion of the platform that they're both on. And then here's the destruction. Better scene.
Now, the one that's gonna fucking... Are you get almost to the one that's gonna really make this difficult for me?
Yeah.
There's a real bad one coming for me.
Yeah. Okay, so smashes Grammy.
You better have the tactical missiles up here.
Oh yeah, I do. Smashes through Grimmy's construct and slices into Grimmy.
Oh, is this when he made like the fucking huge ass like thing? Load. Yeah. Okay, so this is to give context for this panel. This is when Grammy this guy fucking stupid OP. He's basically a reality warper. He had the power of imagination. That was literally his power. Like I'm I for the imagination, and he could just
Maxwell.
Like, he could literally actually kind of and basically like one of the things he did was like, oh, I'm gonna make myself as hard as I don't remember what it was. Something
hard as has hardness skin more than steel at this point. Here's context scan.
Okay, yeah. So he made his skin harder than steel, right? And then, because at first he swings down. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Send that one. He swings down in blocks, right? And it doesn't go through him originally. Those ones are backwards, by the way. It's supposed to be first and back in Discord. So he swings down, doesn't cut him. And then he's like, haha, I just imagined I was harder than steel, right? And then Kenpachi's like, oh, you should have said so. I'll cut you like I'm cutting steel, you know? Which is, again, very similar to Zoro, how like they kind of have modes where like, oh, I'm cutting steel? Okay.
Yeah. Blame Discord. Let's see. Destroys this meteor.
Oh, yeah, here's where we really start getting... Here comes
just casually,
and
casually destroying this.
To clarify, do you have like afterwards images where because he didn't just this meteor. He did not. This is a meteor falling from the sky. He did not just cut it in half. When he cut it, it obliterated it into chunks.
Yep,
that's a big deal.
Yep. 1 second here. Yeah. Here is the aftermath. I had to get that one because it didn't save. Yeah.
Yeah. See, chunks. It did not just cut in half.
Swan drop.
Oh, it did not just cut in half. He obliterated it when he hit it. And the reason, if you're wondering why I'm fighting for, or I'm helping David here, it's because David is self-admittedly not the best at debating. So I just want to make sure I'm giving, because he's just kind of listing. I want to help him give some context here.
I'm also having to resave a lot of these fucking pictures.
Yeah. So I'm just. Honestly, this is more of a discussion. There's no hostility between us. We're discussing who would legitimately win.
Yeah, this isn't going to be crazy like the
last one. Or the last week's one.
Yeah, oh my god, that was fucking... that was absolutely absurd.
But yeah, are we getting to the one that really fucking hurts me?
Okay, here is...
Alright, Noble, this is the one. I want you to pay a lot of attention to this as a judge. Wait. Missiles first?
There's going to be the missiles. There's going to be arguably slicing a portal... to space.
That pretty much was that, yeah. Multi-dimensional slicing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, no, you should have sent the space first, man.
That's the only link I actually have here.
Okay, well, hold on. Fucking...
Yeah, you grab that one.
Okay, so what that is that he just sent, and I'm going to get you a better one here, is, Kenpachi, again, this kid, power of imagination, right? So he literally puts him in the vacuum of space. Now, I have looked it up. Humans, for a short time, can actually survive this. It's not an instant kill. Movies portray it like an instant kill. It is not an instant kill, but it is still damn impressive.
Yep.
And I'm trying to find. Yeah. Here, hold on. I'm sending it to you.
I'm sure it's down in the durability too.
Yeah, and then here.
Yeah. Here.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, I just got it. I got it.
Okay.
So here's this, and here's this. So there's him being enveloped into space. And you see, all of the fucking, his blood's boiling, shit's being, and he's only in there for a couple seconds, so it does make sense that he lived. But, like, you even see his eyes start to go bloodshot and shit. But what's really impressive here is that he does cut through, we don't know much about how the thing works, but he does cut through the dimensional, like, walls here. And this makes sense because when he goes into his Shikai, which is, like, a much bigger sword, and you can see in this panel, he has a much bigger sword here, he states that his power in his Shikai is... to cut everything. I am Kenpachi, I can cut everything. That includes, yes, and so it kind of, this is why I like this battle, because Zoro does the same thing.
And
Zoro does the same, hold on, I'm discussing this right now. Zoro does the same thing, because with this whole resonance thing, like knowing the resonance of a thing, he can also cut through anything. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm debating on actually sending this one, or we'll actually. Here we go. So this is in the Bankai form. Oh, so here is
so Bankai. This is his ultimate form. This is where it gets real crazy.
Yeah, this is in Bankai form, catching Gerard's punch with his mouth.
But before you I think you should explain how his Bankai form works, because you're not really explaining his forms and stuff. His Bankai form. Well, first you have his Shikai, which is a huge ass.
Yeah,
he turns huge. He can cut anything.
It's basically axe and a cleaver all in one.
Now his Bankai form turns him into a berserker, like a berserker in a blood rage. Like, so the weakness here is that he doesn't have intelligence. He's not like aware of his actions, but he turns into a fucking bloodlusting berserker.
Yeah,
that is,
and I actually have a image of him and his
insanely strong.
Yeah, this fucking shit here is insanity. There's the
this is where number one here. What happens here is that he bite you. You want to try to explain it, or should I?
This is where he's biting down on the arm.
Yeah, so Gerard goes to punch him. He bites his fucking arm, and
this happens.
This is fucking insane. He rips his whole goddamn arm off from the shoulder with his jaw and neck strength alone.
Yeah.
Noble. Like, fucking really look at that shit. Like, this is why, like, these are the things that, like, again, so, like, this is what I'm saying. He has the raw power. He does. But Kenpachi has the skill and technique. Sorry, I said that wrong. Zoro has the skill and technique. Kenpachi has the raw power. And that's why I think this is a good battle, because, yes, Kenpachi definitely has the power. But, yeah, go ahead.
And here is the killing blow.
Oh, yeah, this is where he cut Gerard in half with his...
Yeah.
This is another giant guy.
This is,
Yeah, you just cut him right in half.
And... boom. This one will be edited up next.
Yep. And then just, falls.
Yeah.
So, what do you got for,
That was just strength alone.
Yeah, so what are we thinking? Speed, durability?
Speed. We have the appearing behind Ichigo before he can react, pre-time skip.
Yeah. And Ichigo's usually pretty... He's pretty good speed-wise.
Yeah, Ichigo's usually very, very fast. Up until that, he was one of the fastest in the series, and then...
Yeah.
And it's notable because this is beforehand, just chilling on top of the skyscraper.
So he just went where... So, did he go from the skyscraper there again?
Yeah.
So, he kind of... Again, there's a lot of parallels to Zoro, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blocking Noichoro's weapon with ease is another good pre-time skip one. And... boop. This is just another...
easy chill,
yeah, just... fuck you and everything about
you.
And
the thing is, most of the time he uses one hand, and I think that it is important, and I'll edit this up here because I know how to find this easily. Usually he's using just one hand because, again, he's almost always holding back.
Yeah.
Whenever he uses two hands, if shit gets even crazier.
Yeah, and reacting to Stark disappearing with the same rapidity.
I remember that. Yeah.
Bankai Ichigo.
The first Espada, so one of the most powerful villains in the series.
Just casual.
Is that when he just goes over to attack him?
Yeah. And post-time skip. Not much here, aside from, just casually slicing a missile in half in midair.
Oh, the tactical missile part?
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I said I'd get to it. It's more of a speed feat than anything. Also, scaling Gerard's vertical sword instantly to slash at him. And this is just another beautiful, beautiful Kubo panel.
Kubes.
Motherfucker could draw some good shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he could. Is this when he runs? Yeah,
he
runs up his giant sword.
Yeah, just...
yeah.
I wish I had something to, scale the size of that fucking sword by. I really do.
I mean, the giant city and stuff. I'm sure someone could. Yeah.
But anyway, should we just get into durability here?
Yeah, might as well. Again, keep in mind with my Zoro, we got the pure pain, pure the concept of pain itself being shot into his body. It may not look as impressive, but conceptually it's pretty good.
So this is pre-time skip.
Fucking motherfucker.
No selling a blow from Ichigo. First feat. Just.
Oh, right, yeah. So this is, again, like, this is actually very akin to what Zoro can do with Armament Haki.
Yeah.
But, like, with him, it's just hurting his Reiatsu. And before Ichigo sharpened his Reiatsu, he just could not cut him. It was like fucking cutting steel, yeah.
Yeah, and... which, causes this, by the way. Boop.
Yeah. He goes to when he hits his body, his fucking hand bleeds.
Yeah,
I remember that.
And then,
also a part of that fight, I do want to bring up, because even if you don't have it, I'll find it myself and edit it up. The part where he actually stabs through Ichigo's sword, like his Reiatsu is so sharp that he actually stabs through. Ichigo goes to block it. Yeah. You got that? Even if you don't, like, the part where
not in this.
He stabs through Ichigo's sword because he's.
I believe it is in this one though.
It's very similar to Armament Haki in a way. You know, my stuff becomes sharper because I have more concentration on it. Shit,
which is reloading. But anyway, this is more
durability. Yes. I remember that too. Like. Because Ichigo fucking, he blocks his sword, and then Kenpachi just casually just pushes. Well, it's actually slow. Like, remember, he's actually just like, oh yeah.
It's just like, it's almost like a knife. Just
he's like, you think you can block me with Reiatsu that week, please. That was good shit. Kenpachi was amazing.
So, back to durability.
What else you got, David? Anything? and then we'll discuss. So basically, here's the format here. After you're done, you and I will discuss for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then I'll hand it over to what Noble thinks as an outsider.
Yeah. Blocking the Zoro, barehanded.
Oh, Zoro is like a beam attack, basically. Yeah.
Since he brought up the lasers.
Mm-hmm, yep. Well, to be fair though, here's a big difference between the Zoro and the lasers. Okay. Yeah. In the One Piece verse. Those lasers are from the Pacifista, which were stated to be artificial. It's artificially recreating the attacks from Kizaru, who is supposed to be at least near light speed.
Yeah.
This is Zoro never stated how. In fact, with a Zoro, there was a faster version of a Zoro called a Bala. Remember?
Yeah.
So I mean, Zeros aren't necessarily known for their speed.
Yeah.
But yeah, just bring that up.
That's a comparable
durability to wise, and the fact that he's just slapping it away.
Yeah, just fucking literally casual slap.
Yeah.
Getting slashed by Noitora and just smiles through the pain.
Oh yeah, he has a thing for getting caught up. It's his kink, I tell you.
Yeah, it's literally knife play to the extreme.
Yeah. Because he never defends. Like, that's the great... And I think that could be his downfall, too, potentially in this battle.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't defend because he kind of likes getting cut up. In fact, and I'll edit this part up, too, in this battle with Noitora, he never defends. He always... Like, you see, Noitora always is defending. Kenpachi gets cut up. And there's even a part where Noitora, if I'm remembering correctly, says, like, how is it that he's still... I'm untouched, and he's like, and there's a point where Kenpachi literally has to say, oh, fuck. I might actually die. I need to start trying, because he starts like, oh shit, I'm actually bleeding pretty bad right now.
Then this large building-sized fucking pillar here, and this is just fucking beautiful, durability-wise.
Ha! Yeah, just chucked right into it. Ridiculous.
He's unfazed by pretty much everything this entire fight until the very end. And then impaled.
We should probably start wrapping up your section so we can have about a couple minutes of debate and then, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Punk bitch. Nice fucking translation.
Yep.
Oh, good old fan translations.
And then, while he's severely wounded here, I believe this is the one you were looking for. Or at least it should be.
Where he's like, he grabs his neck and he's like, I might die here. Oh shit! Yeah.
This is no.
But again, this is all this stuff you're seeing. He still finishes this fight
like a boss, right here. I just wanted pretty much the entirety of this fucking fight.
Fair enough.
Because it was basically his main pre-time skip fight.
Yeah.
That fucking face.
He gets off on it. He's like, fuck yeah. Again, to clarify though, there is a part where he's like, oh shit, he actually realizes I'm actually bleeding a lot. I have to get serious, but
yeah, okay, and then post-time skip, surviving the Grimmy's space room.
You already did that. I sent that, remember?
Oh, you sent that one, yeah.
Yep.
Boop, boop, boop. Exposing while he's exposed to the void of space, withstanding this explosion, which
Is this the main city crushing one? Oh, yeah. Which one was that again?
That one is pretty much, I believe...
Right, that was the bombs that Grammy put on. It was like C4 or some shit, or like some crazy C4 shit.
It was...
Yeah, he strapped it to him.
It was basically a form of plastic explosive. Yeah. It wasn't really clarified if it was C4, if it was Semtex, or what.
Well, the thing is, it's the power of imagination, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know what kind of bomb it was, but like it was certainly, it might have just been something that he made up because it's like really strong. It's a big ass explosion. Yeah. But yeah, he just strapped explosives right to him. I remember he was fucked up after that.
Yeah.
But he still finished the fight. But he was
after all the damage, and this is basically just for durability's sake here. Boop. That's him post this fight.
Oh yeah, let me see. I gotta see this.
Just gushing fucking blood.
He got partially death because of the fucking thing. Internal organs ruptured.
Yeah.
Damn.
Is
that good on your end then?
This is tanking below from the Volsting form of Gerard.
Oh yeah. Oh, are we getting to the city explosions now? Yeah. See again, fucking city fucking breaking punch.
Yeah, and here is literally what that same blow can do.
Yep, that same punch does
this much fucking damage.
Yeah. Toshiro's reaction is appropriate here.
Oh shit. And here is the Shikai, being brought up so they can be edited up as well.
Huge. It makes his sword huge and awesome, and I love it. Okay, so so for about 5 or 10 minutes, I'd like to discuss this with David, and then throw it over to Noble and Swan. So here's what I want to bring up. Right, from the very beginning, I knew this was going to be a battle of raw strength versus technique and like stuff like that, right? So like, it's obvious that Zoro is more intelligent. It's obvious that Zoro has more actual like sword fighting skills. And I didn't mention a lot of them in this because I was focusing a lot more on his like the damage he can do and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you go and look, you can see, he has actual like finesse and stuff with his swords. And obviously countering that, Kenpachi has fucking crazy ass feats when it comes to surviving the vacuum of space, cutting lava, fucking surviving like city breaking hits and stuff.
Yeah.
Now I do want to compare that city breaking hit to the Pika one, semi-similar. Yours looked a bit more destructive, definitely, because yours is like a whole city. Mine's like maybe one or two buildings.
I think by scale, that one that was there, cutting the meteor.
Yup. Thank you, Swan. Now here's the thing, though. I do want to point out that meteor. You can see how big the meteor is compared to Kenpachi, right? It's not like it's about the same to me. Maybe I'm scaling completely wrong here, but like Pika's size, if Pika was falling from the sky as a meteor, I feel like it'd be comparable. I mean, like he was like if I'm looking at Zoro compared to Pika in that scan, that's what I'm trying to argue. Now, obviously, there's a difference where like it's falling from the sky. That adds a lot to it.
That would add a lot of having to calculate a bunch of shit.
That's true. That's true, Swan. That's very true.
Yep.
Yeah, because space and shit. So I guess let's go over, because what I like to do is go over like things, right? So like speed, right? So durability, I am gonna easily give to Kenpachi.
Oh yeah, there's no comparison there.
Now speed, let's compare. So what did you have for speed again?
Speed was.
Can you actually just go to your respect red and let me just look at the list real quick?
Yep. Did you? Pre-time skip. We had the blinking basically behind.
Oh yep. Okay.
Ichigo.
Just Tosin. Oh, the touch stuff. Okay. Block story towards over the start. Okay, so not a lot from Kenpachi with speed.
And then post time skip, blitzing Candace while half dead.
Okay.
Scaling Gerard's sword to slash at him.
See, Zoro, Kenpachi's not big on dodging. We don't see a lot from speed from him.
Yeah.
Because even with those bullets, like he didn't even dodge those bullets. He took them, right. So I think I'm gonna give speed to Zoro. Yeah. Simply on the fact that like.
We haven't seen enough of Kenpachi, doing
I also
anything.
don't think that's his forte. I mean, he's big, he's lumbering, he that's not really what he does.
No, he's more like, I'm going to intimidate you and then fuck you up.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind getting hit either, so I don't even think he ever would have trained his speed. And with Zoro, you have him dodging lasers that are confirmed to be at least approaching light speed. I mean, and
that is the one that's getting up.
Yeah, so dodging lasers that are at least approaching light speed. Obviously it's probably more of knowing where they're gonna be shot, but like still you're reacting to light speed things. Yeah. So I'm gonna give so far we have durability Kenpachi, but speed Zoro. Now what I want to think about is like, I guess the question is how much does. And by the way, Noble and Swan, we're at the point of this video where I wouldn't mind you guys jumping in whenever you have a thought. But like my thoughts are like, how much does technique matter versus the raw power of Kenpachi?
And here's where it's arguably 50-50 because technique makes you more stable in any form of martial arts, swordplay, gunplay, anything like that. You have to control your body, you have to react properly, you have to do all of that. But if you're a lumbering fucking beast like Kenpachi, you really don't have to focus on any of that, which is why he doesn't give a fuck. But at the same time, the technique he will easily be outmatched, usually by somebody with more technique if he can't overpower them.
Yeah, so that's why my main question here, and then I'll be curious on your thoughts, Noble, is like, something that I think that could be a downfall for Kenpachi maybe is that, again, he doesn't really dodge. He almost likes getting hit. And I feel like Zoro is the kind of guy who's going to go for vital play. You know what I mean? He doesn't fuck around, right? So, like, exactly. If he allows Zoro, if he allows Zoro to, like, actually overpower him, I could see his letting himself get hit almost as a downfall.
I would agree with that.
So that's something. So and again, you and I have basically agreed that speed wise, Kenpachi better. Obviously, he's going to take a lot more hits because his durability is better. I guess physical strength. Let's delve into physical strength and who we think is better in that aspect.
Physical strength, I'd actually make this almost like even because.
Well, here's the question, because what I almost. The ripping the arm off with the fucking jaw and neck strength.
Yeah, but that's also while he's in that berserker form.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of that's composite Kenpachi.
Yeah, but has Zoro done anything that insane while normal?
Well, it depends on how much strength you think it requires to cut fucking Pika in half. And also, do you think that his arm, so that dude's arm, right? How much do you think that weighed? Gerard's arm. Just eyeing it.
I've actually got a specific question, and this one's going to be going to Redd.
Okay.
Zoro has the ability to basically zone in on the
resonance of the thing,
ability of the resonance to cut through something.
Yep.
Can he do that with multiple items in succession? Meaning, can he cut through the sword as one, and then cut through, let's say, an armored body as a second, and then through vital organs as a third? Can he change it up in one swing?
Yes, because he's multiple times he has. Now, to clarify, this doesn't mean he's like he can just cut through anything without succession, because as long as we're at the point in the story where like other swordsmen can do the same thing, and obviously they can cancel out a resonation with another resonation, you know what I mean, or however you're saying that. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you know what I mean. So like if he's fighting someone else that can also do that, they can stop him from clashing, right? But like he's at the point where body flesh, he can cut that easy, you know what I mean. But I'm not saying, like with Kenpachi, he also has a very similar thing where he's able to just cut through it. He said it multiple times. I can cut through anything. We've seen him do this.
Exactly.
But they both have the ability to also armor themselves through a mental state, correct?
Oh, you're talking about my character? But we'll both actually do. So Kenpachi,
both of them do, yeah.
Yeah, Kenpachi hardens up his Reiatsu, and that's what you saw in the panel where Ichigo couldn't cut through him, and then Zoro can do the same thing with Armament Haki, which is just like a layer of hardening that goes over them. So at that point, I think it would come.
So
down to
that's what I'm getting into. So if they were both hardened like that,
yep,
and both striking with the resonance ability, would he be able to cut through not just his own defenses, but also through, let's say, his weapon, through any kind of shielding? Would he be able to get through it in one swing, or would he be deflected and counterattacked? That's the question, and I think that's what it's going to come down to.
I do agree with Noble here. That's what it would come down to.
Say, Kenpachi also has an undetermined amount of years, probably, of experience over Zoro too.
Oh, certainly, but I mean, like
that might actually come into play here as well, since Kenpachi likes to get hit, but he enjoys fighting more than just the damage itself.
Right.
So he's not going to let himself die, but he doesn't necessarily want the other person to die too quickly.
Okay. See, I think he could, because there have been multiple times in the show where, like,
he's cut through armament hockey.
Yeah,
quite easily, while cutting through blades, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, because I mean, like, I'm trying to think of, like, I've seen shots where, like, he'll cut through, like there'll be like a struggle for a bit, and then he'll cut through the person's blade, and then he'll go for, like, I don't know if all in one, maybe not immediately. I think there's been moments where he's cut through someone's blade and them, but I've also seen ones where he's struggled, cut through a blade, and then, like, their blade's cut in half, and then he goes for, like, a stab. But see, Kenpachi does a similar thing, like with Gremmy. He cut through his defenses, and then he stopped right on Gremmy, and then Gremmy was like, "Oh, I'm hardened steel," and he was like, "Oh, okay, got it, boom." So I mean, I think it'd be kind of similar to that. To me, it comes down to, how much do you think technique versus Kenpachi's kind of just swinging it around like a fucking madman?
Also, I think it'll also come down to the massive size of the fucking blade too.
That's true, yeah. But I mean, like, we've seen he can lift 4 tons, so I don't know if that's gonna.
But I mean,
he's blocked some crazy shit. I mean, I'm sure I could find moments where he blocks fucking, like, don't forget him, like, fucking, like, blocking giants and shit.
But the reason I'm saying that.
Another thing to think of, though, is that Kenpachi's Bankai actually, and you can see it in the picture that I posted up there, it essentially takes Nozurashi's Shikai form and cuts it in half.
Yeah, it like, kind of like, it looks like it's broken in half.
So size isn't necessarily an issue at that point.
True.
He's essentially an immensely powerful berserker wielding a cleaver, ready to chop you up like Barry.
Durability.
So
get it, Full Metal Alchemist reference.
Yeah. Indirect punch sends him flying across the city, as well as brings down several buildings.
Yeah. See, this is where
it's yeah. I mean, I guess here's where what I think it honestly comes. Ugh. So okay, I agree. We both agree. Speed, Zoro. Durability, you.
Yeah.
So Zoro can attack Kenpachi more probably, but Kenpachi can take more than Zoro. So I guess let's go back down to. Oh gosh, it really comes down to. Oh my gosh, that's just hard. It
comes down to, does Kenpachi activate his Bankai?
I think he will.
Because if he activates his Bankai, he's not going to be thinking about enjoying the fight anymore. He's just going to attack.
Fuck, Swan. That's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck. Yeah.
So that means that all of that power, all of that durability, his speed increases too in his Bankai.
That's true.
So all of that is going to be bearing down on Zoro if he activates his Bankai.
We really didn't see a lot of how much faster he did get in the Bankai form as well. But
the general basis is that when Bankai was first introduced, is that it increases the Shinigami's ability by about 10.
It's 5 to 10 times is what it was.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So it's Kenpachi's speed, which is still really fast, times about probably the maximum of 10.
Yeah, we'll go 10. We'll give him the 10.
Yeah, because considering.
I mean, even at times 5, that's still going to be immensely faster than what he was before.
I gotta agree with Swan here that if his Bankai goes active, it's done.
I do feel like I should bring up the whole, like, remember the 9 sword style thing he did, where he did like it was like the Ashura, the 3 head thing.
Yeah.
Where like he here, let me get it up. But hold on, Zoro. Ashura, where he basically like did this thing, where he let me find it.
It could very well come down to who has to activate their trump card first.
Yeah.
See, this is a fan art of it, but basically the first thing that came up. But like basically he did this thing called Ashura, where like 9 sword style.
We definitely cannot edit that up.
Oh, I won't. I'll use a different one. I'll use the official. This was just a really quick version that I wanted to get up for them. But and it basically like it really heavily increased his thing. But like I think that the best cut he's done in the series is still against Pika.
Oh yeah,
and
I will definitely give you that. That's clean cut.
Yeah. So how about this? Here's what this will be one of the last things we'll go into. So looking at the size of Gerard and the size of Gerard, the thing that he cut in half in Bankai, and then Pika, what I said that he cut in half. What do you guys think is bigger out of those two characters?
They're both going to be about the same. It's just whichever's denser is really what it's going to come down to.
After Kenpachi split him in half, Gerard bigger.
Right.
But that's after he got cut in half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he grew bigger every time. Fuck, this is a difficult one. Okay, well, Noble, do you have any final thoughts on what it would come down to, so that we can any other questions for me?
It's honestly who's going to get the killing blow in first. That's really what it comes down to.
Like,
period.
I feel like Zoro with this
Kenpachi's got the denser object cut though.
Denser. Yeah.
The meteors are much denser than stone.
And I feel like I guess if they clashed, probably Kenpachi would. Because Armor no Haki is hard to get through. We haven't seen his swords get chipped yet. But like,
I think Pika would comparing Pika to Gerard would be in favor of Zoro there, because Pika was what made of stone at the time.
Yes.
And Gerard is still flesh.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
With some minor amounts of armor.
I know. Yeah, didn't they say that armor? Like some of the armor was like supposed to be really good. Like I remember he regrew his armor. He's like, oh, I have harder armor on this arm now, or something, right?
Yeah, like every time his armor, his weapons, himself got cut, it got tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got upgraded.
Oh,
but there was no definition on how.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, are you sure you want to do this?
No, it's good. That makes it good.
It's not the hardness by definition. It got harder, but by what scale is the question?
Yeah.
I know, and it never really defines.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't really.
Yeah,
it didn't give us enough information. It should have gave us more. That was a writing situation. That was a writing.
Kubo didn't have enough time.
Yeah, he got
really
rushed near the end of the series, unfortunately. But I think the Bankai thing is difficult. Because,
I think what could end up happening would be they'll be trading blows.
Right.
Kenpachi will probably never put two hands on his weapon on Nozarashi.
Mm-hmm.
The entire fight. Zoro's going to end up trying to cleave through by sensing the resonance of Nozarashi and trying to cut through Nozarashi and Kenpachi in the same go. Just to try to end it.
Right. I actually like this. I like you breaking it down. Thank you.
Nozarashi is probably going to freaking make Zaraki go through Shikai and just go straight into Bankai.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoro might start to get into his Ashura form. He might even get into it.
Right.
But Zaraki will be right there in his face already, gnawing it off.
I gotta be honest, even as a Zoro fan, like what Kenpachi shows in Bankai is much more impressive than what he shows in Ashura.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
agree.
sad. It hurts
I
me.
feel that might be a fairly accurate.
Yeah, I thank you, Swan. I think that was actually a really well assessed thing. So I mean, I think it comes down to is, and just for the final say here,
Zoro's definitely going to have the early game though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, actually. Thank you, Swan. So, like, because of him being better with technique, I think Zoro would start out kind of really, really pushing Kenpachi onto the ropes. And then once Kenpachi went to Bankai, it would just fucking flip. It'd be like Zoro would be like, fuck! Yeah, he'd be like, what is this? So, I think with...
Yeah. And then at the end, Donkey would come in and win.
Donkey? What?
No, well,
I don't get the joke. Did I miss it? Wait, what did he say? Donkey?
He's just trolling.
Yeah, and Donkey would come in and win.
Donkey Kong?
Donkey from Shrek?
Donkey! Well, anyway, but yeah, no, I like that,
and in
actually.
the morning, he'll make waffles.
So, yeah, I will give it to Kenpachi here. With a hard fought battle, I think Zoro would push him on the ropes near the beginning, but then Kenpachi would come back with Bankai and turn the tides. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, anyone?
Yeah.
You better not edit out the donkey part, or I will come over after you, and we'll be a death battle Noble versus Redd in person.
In person? What?
Ignore Noble's troll.
IRL, bro. IRL.
Well, I would actually like to do. I'll do a death battle with you at one point, Noble, and I'm sure I'll be crushed and hurt.
Oh yeah, you will. He will hurt your very soul, like he did Alberto.
Oh wow! All right,
you better
peace
leave
out,
the donkey
everyone.
part in.
All right.
Goodbye.